Darren Hale stepped off the transport shuttle and looked around the alien landscape that stretched in every direction. The sky was pale blue with two faint suns glowing in the distance. Sharp rock formations surrounded the outpost like stone giants frozen in time. It was the most isolated place he had ever seen. He had been sent here as a mechanical engineer, nothing more. Fix machines, maintain systems, keep things running. That was what the assignment order said. He expected long days, little sleep, and a lot of quiet. But he did not expect her. He saw her the moment he entered the main building. She stood in the middle of the room, giving instructions to a group of tall alien soldiers. Darren blinked twice because at first he thought she was a child. She was barely 4 feet tall, with soft silver skin and large bright eyes that seemed too aware, too focused for someone her size. Her hair was snow white, falling straight behind her shoulders. She spoke in a calm, clear voice, and everyone in the room listened with complete seriousness. When she turned to look at Darren, it felt like a spotlight fell on him. The officer beside him whispered, "That is Sira. She is small, but you will learn very soon why no one underestimates her." Darren wasn't sure what that meant. Sira walked toward him with balanced steps, her hands behind her back. Her eyes did not blink once as they studied him. They were not judging him, but understanding him, as if she could see beyond his face and into something deeper. "You are Darren Hale," she said. Her voice was soft, but there was no doubt she expected an answer. "Yes," Darren replied, suddenly straightening his posture. "That's me. You were assigned to machine management," she continued. "Good. We need that. Our systems are unstable, and your species has a talent for repairing unstable things." Darren didn't know whether that was a compliment or a warning. Before he could say anything, she stepped closer. He felt a strange tingling in his head, like a tiny spark brushing the inside of his mind. She stopped walking. Her eyes narrowed slightly. "You think very loudly," she said. Darren took a step back. What?" "You will learn to quiet your thoughts," she said simply. "Your mind is open, and it reaches toward anything unusual." She tilted her head. "That can be dangerous here." He had no idea what she meant, but she continued walking, expecting him to follow, so he did. They passed rows of glowing panels, humming machines, and alien workers moving quickly with data tablets. Sira explained the layout of the outpost as they walked. She did not talk too fast, but every word felt deliberate. Darren realized she always seemed 3 steps ahead of the situation. When they reached the maintenance room, she stopped. "You will work here," she said. "I will check on you. Your tasks are simple. The machines are not." Darren nodded. "I'll handle it." Sira looked at him again with eyes that seemed to read more than his face. "Yes," she said. "You will." She turned and left, but Darren could still feel the strange tingling in his head, like her presence brushed against his mind even when she was gone. He shook his head, trying to clear it. Maybe it was only stress. Maybe it was just the shock of seeing an alien girl who acted like a commander and talked like she knew more about him than he knew about himself. He tried to focus on his work. But as the hours passed, Darren realized something strange. Every time he was about to make a mistake, he felt a sudden pressure in his mind, an urgent push, like someone silently directing him away from danger. It happened first with a damaged power relay. He reached toward the wrong wire, and a sharp feeling hit him. Stop, without any voice or sound. His hand froze. A second later, the wire sparked violently, sending a burst of energy that could have burned his entire arm. He stepped back, breathing heavily. Then he turned, and Sira was standing in the doorway. "You should not touch that," she said calmly. Did you do that?" he asked. She nodded once. "Your mind is loud, as I said. I sensed your intention." "Did you just control me?" "I redirected you," she replied. If I controlled you, you would not have even realized you moved. Darren wasn't sure if that made him feel better. She stepped inside the room and inspected the damaged relay. Her small hands moved quickly, and within seconds, she identified the issue. This one is unstable. You should not work alone until you understand our systems. You don't have to watch me every second, Darren said. Sira looked up at him, and he realized she was not annoyed or offended. She simply looked at him with the same calm understanding she always had. It is not my choice, she said. Your mind reaches toward mine easily. That means your thoughts can affect me too. If you panic, I feel it. If you fear something, I sense it. I must keep you stable until your mind learns control. Darren slowly sat down on an empty crate. So you're telling me we're mentally connected? Not fully, she said. Not yet, but the link begins. He rubbed his forehead. This wasn't in my assignment description. It is not common, Sira explained. My species links with others only in rare conditions. But your mind reacted to mine the moment I looked at you. You are open, and you trust without thinking. That makes a bond easier. Darren wasn't sure if being trusting without thinking was a compliment or an insult, but he also couldn't deny she was right. There was something about her, small, calm, but strong, that made him instinctively trust her. Later that evening, the outpost alarms suddenly blared across the base, red lights flashed on the walls, and workers rushed toward defensive stations. Darren stepped into the hallway, confused and alarmed. A voice echoed through the speakers. Unknown movement detected outside perimeter. Darren looked around for Sira, and she appeared almost instantly, like she had been waiting. Come with me, she said. What's happening? Scouts, she replied. Not ours. She walked quickly, and Darren followed. The farther they went, the stronger the pressure in his mind became, like her thoughts were pushing into his. She stopped at a glass wall overlooking the rocky plains. Several alien soldiers stood nearby, watching with tense eyes. In the distance, small dark shapes moved among the rocks. Darren whispered, Are they dangerous? Yes, Sira said. They test our defenses. They will not attack fully yet, but they will try to find weaknesses. Darren watched her face. Despite her size, she was completely composed. But he could feel something beneath her calm, pressure, focus, calculation. Then the pressure in his mind suddenly increased. It wasn't painful, but it was sharp, urgent. Sira grabbed his wrist. Do not move. Do not run. Her voice was low, controlled, but firm. You feel my signal, yes? Yes, Darren said, surprised. It feels like you're inside my head. I am, she admitted. Your fear rises fast. I must keep your mind steady or the bond will break. I'm not afraid, Darren insisted. Sira looked at him with a small sigh. You are very afraid. You try to hide it, but your thoughts have no walls. I feel everything. He swallowed hard. Sorry. It is fine, she said. But listen carefully. I will use your mind to hold mine steady. You must not resist. Darren stiffened. Use my mind? Yes, she said simply. My power requires stability, and your thoughts, though loud, are strong. Humans have unusual strength inside. I need that. Before he could answer, a sharp beeping alarm echoed. One of the soldiers shouted, Movement increasing! 10 units approaching! Sira closed her eyes, and Darren felt it, a strong pull, like invisible strings connecting their thoughts. His heartbeat slowed. His fear softened. His mind steadied as if someone placed warm hands around it. He felt Sira's presence fully, focused, disciplined, and strangely gentle. She opened her eyes and spoke to the soldiers. Activate perimeter shields. Channel power to the east gate. They will test that area first. The soldiers moved instantly, trusting her completely. Darren whispered, "How do you know?" "Because I see the pattern," she replied. "And because your mind gave me something useful. Instinct." She pointed toward the far rocks. The enemy scouts moved exactly as she predicted. "You felt danger in that direction before your eyes saw it," she said. "Humans feel threats differently. And since I am linked to you, I feel it too." She placed a hand lightly against Darren's arm. "This is why you are important." He stared down at her. "But I'm just an engineer." "You are more," she said. "Humans often are more than they appear." They stood together, watching as the outpost activated its defenses. The scouts tested the shields, but Sira guided the soldiers with perfect timing. Every shot, every adjustment, every command, she predicted each movement before it happened. Darren felt her thoughts move through him like a river, not controlling him entirely, but nudging his emotions, pushing back panic, guiding his focus. He felt stronger because of her. He felt calmer. He felt part of something bigger. When the scouts finally retreated into the distance, the alarms faded. The outpost relaxed. Soldiers sighed with relief. Sira's shoulders softened, and she released Darren's arm. "The threat is gone for now," she said, "but they will return, and next time they may bring more." Darren nodded, still breathing hard. "I think I understand now. Why you said my mind is connected to yours." "Yes." "Does that mean you control everything I do?" he asked quietly. Sira looked up at him. Those bright eyes softened just a little. "I do not wish to control you," she said, "but I can. And when danger comes, I will. For your safety and for the outpost." Darren swallowed. There was no threat in her voice, only truth. She turned to leave, then stopped and looked back at him. "You are important to me now," she said, "because your mind connects with mine, because together we are stronger." Darren stared after her as she walked down the hallway, small but powerful, calm but commanding. He didn't know what this bond meant for his future, but one thing was clear. She was only 4 feet tall, yet she already controlled more of his life, more of his choices, than he ever expected. And part of him didn't fear that. Part of him trusted her. Deeply. The night after the attack was strangely quiet. The twin suns had set, leaving only a soft silver glow from the planet's moons. Darren sat outside the maintenance building, trying to understand everything that had happened. He kept replaying the moment when Sira connected their minds fully. It still felt unreal. He had never imagined an alien, even one so small and calm, could enter his thoughts so easily, or that he would feel safer because of it. He was still thinking about her when he sensed something behind him. There were no footsteps, no sound, just a soft pressure in his mind, like a gentle knock. Sira stepped into the light. "You are awake," she said. Darren nodded. "Couldn't sleep?" "You are thinking too much." He laughed quietly. "Can't help it. Today was intense." She approached and stood beside him. Even sitting down, he was taller than her. But somehow, she never seemed small. She carried herself like someone who knew exactly what she was doing. And that confidence made her feel bigger than anyone in the outpost. "You handled the link better than I expected," she said. "Your mind was strong. You supported mine." "I didn't do much. You were the one leading everything." "No," she corrected. "You think like a human, and that is very useful." He turned to her. "What do you mean?" She sat down next to him, her legs crossing neatly. "My species thinks in patterns. We see logic, numbers, movement. We predict. But humans are different. You feel danger before it arrives. You sense intention even when nothing is visible. When we linked, I saw your instinct. It helped me make decisions." Darren blinked. "So, you need me?" "Yes, and I do not like needing others." but I accept the truth." That surprised him. But before he could reply, she leaned slightly closer, focusing her eyes on his. "There is something I must explain," she said. "The link is growing. Every time we connect, our minds become closer. Soon you may feel what I feel too." "Is that dangerous?" Darren asked. "Only if you resist. If you accept it, the link becomes stronger and more balanced." Darren understood she wasn't asking for control. She was explaining something natural, something neither of them planned. He nodded slowly. "Then I won't resist." She stared at him for a moment. "Good." The ground rumbled softly beneath them. Darren stood up quickly. "What was that?" "Come," she said, already moving. They walked fast toward the command center. Alarms were not ringing, but soldiers looked tense. Sira moved straight toward the main screen. It showed a map of the surrounding area. Red dots were forming on the borders, far more than earlier that day. Darren felt a cold sensation in his stomach. "That's too many." "Yes. Their full unit is approaching." "You predicted they'd come back, but this soon?" "They know we stopped their scouts," Sira said. "They want to crush us before we prepare." The commander approached. "Sira, what do we do? The shields cannot hold against a full attack." Sira's eyes narrowed slightly. She was thinking, not with fear, but with deep, sharp focus. "We must combine mind power and defense systems," she finally said. "Our strategies alone are not enough. Our weapons alone are not enough. But if a human mind merges with mine, I can see all paths, all outcomes." The commander looked around nervously. "We have no humans trained for mental combat." Sira turned toward Darren. "He is enough." Everyone stared. Darren's heart jumped. "Me? You have already bonded with me. You felt my thoughts. I felt yours," she said. "Your mind is open, strong, and fearless when guided." "Fearless?" Darren laughed nervously. "I was terrified. But you did not run. That is what matters." The commander hesitated. "Is it safe for him?" "No," Sira answered honestly. "But it is necessary." Darren swallowed hard. He looked at the screen again. More red dots appeared. The enemy was spreading out like a dark wave. His fear tried to rise, but then he remembered the feeling of her presence calming his thoughts earlier. He remembered how safe he felt when she guided him. He took a deep breath. "I'll do it." Sira nodded once, no smile, no relief. But Darren felt something warm in his mind, like silent approval. They went to the central chamber where the outpost's mind-amplifying device stood. It was a circular platform surrounded by tall metal rings that hummed softly. Sira stepped onto the platform and motioned for Darren to join her. When he did, she faced him directly. Her eyes glowed faintly. "I will create the full link now," she said. "When it begins, do not fight the pressure. Let it enter." Darren nodded. The machine activated. Light filled the ring, and Darren felt his heartbeat pounding harder. The air vibrated. Then Sira placed her small hand on his chest, not forcefully, but enough to anchor him. "Breathe," she said softly. He inhaled, and suddenly the world expanded. He felt her mind enter his fully, not like a voice or a sound, but like a wave of light. He saw memories, flashes of her childhood, her training, her fears. He felt her determination, sharper than any blade, her intelligence, almost overwhelming, her loneliness, hidden deep beneath her calm exterior. At the same time, she felt him, his doubts, his hopes, his human emotions that moved without logic. They stood completely still, but inside their minds, everything was moving like two rivers meeting. Darren gasped. "This is a lot." "You are doing well," Sira whispered. "Hold steady." The enemy approached rapidly. Their machines activated weapons. Soldiers at the outpost prepared for impact. Sira's mind reached outward, touching the defense systems, predicting movements, calculating everything with impossible speed. Darren felt all of it through her, but she needed him. Every time her mind pushed deeper into calculations, she drew strength from him. His instinct, his fast emotional reactions, his ability to imagine possibilities she couldn't see. "Left side!" Darren suddenly shouted without knowing why. Sierra reacted instantly, redirecting energy to the left shields. A split second later, enemy fire slammed into the exact spot he sensed. The shield held. Sierra's voice echoed in his mind. "Your instinct is guiding me. Good. Again." They worked together, her logic and his intuition. It felt natural, even though it should have been impossible. Enemy forces surrounded the outpost, but every attack was answered. Every weakness was sealed. Every danger was predicted. Inside the link, Sierra's presence grew heavier. Darren felt her strain, the pressure building in her small body and sharp mind. She was pushing herself far beyond normal limits. "Sierra, you're burning your energy too fast. I must. We cannot lose." "You'll collapse." "Not if you hold me steady," she answered. So Darren focused with everything he had. He sent her calm thoughts, steady emotions, memories of Earth, clear skies, oceans, laughter. He didn't know if it would help, but he wanted her to feel something warm, something peaceful. She felt it, and her mind glowed brighter inside his. Together, their linked thoughts created a perfect balance. Her strategy, his instinct, her courage, his heart. The final wave of enemies approached. Sierra's body trembled. Darren felt her pain as if it were his own, but he held on to her mind tightly, refusing to let it fade. He shouted inside the link, "We can finish this!" Her answer came like a spark. Together. She activated the full power of the defense grid. Light burst from the outpost like a rising star. A massive wave of energy spread across the rocky plains, pushing back the enemy forces. Their machines flickered, sputtered, and collapsed. The enemy retreated. Silence filled the outpost as the dust settled. Sierra staggered. Darren caught her before she fell. Even though she was small, her weight felt real, solid, warm in his arms. Her breathing was shallow, but her eyes remained open. "You are safe," he whispered. She nodded weakly. "Because of you." The commander and soldiers ran into the chamber, wide-eyed and breathless. They stared at Sierra and Darren as if they were witnessing a miracle. "You saved the outpost," the commander said. "Sierra saved it," Darren replied. Sierra shook her head. "We saved it." The medics insisted Sierra rest, but she refused to be taken far from Darren. Even in her weakened state, her hand reached toward him. When he took it, her breathing calmed. "The link? It stays even when you sleep?" he asked softly. "Yes," she said. "You are part of my mind now, and I am part of yours." Darren didn't know what that meant for the future, but he didn't feel afraid. The feeling of her presence inside his thoughts was no longer strange. It felt right. The next day, as the outpost repaired the damage, Sierra sat beside him on a metal crate, her silver skin glowing softly in the sunlight. She looked at him with thoughtful eyes. "You adapted faster than anyone I have ever seen," she said. "You pushed me harder than anyone ever has," Darren joked. She didn't smile, but her eyes warmed. "You trust me," she said, "even when I control your actions." Darren nodded. "Because you don't control me to dominate me. You do it to protect me, to protect everyone." She looked down, almost shy, a rare moment of vulnerability. "I do not want to take your freedom, but sometimes I must guide you." "And I'm okay with that," Darren said, "because I know you'll never use it to harm me." She looked up at him again. "You are unusual for a human. Is that good?" "It is interesting." They sat quietly for a while. The outpost was peaceful, Soldiers were repairing, talking, laughing again. Life was returning to normal. But Darren knew nothing would ever be normal for him again. Sira stood and offered him her hand, tiny compared to his. "Come," she said. "There is much to learn. Our bond is still growing, and the future will not be easy." He took her hand without hesitation. "Lead the way," he said. She nodded. "I will. And you will follow. Not because I control you, but because you choose to walk with me." Together, they stepped forward into a future where a small alien girl and a human engineer shared one mind, one purpose, and a connection stronger than anything the outpost had ever seen. She was only 4 feet tall, but she guided him, protected him, strengthened him. And Darren followed her willingly, because together they were unstoppable.